Alright, Schlockmeister fans, back to Australia for Razorback. Let's check it out. This dude's taking care of his grandson in the Australian outback, and listen. We hear something growling. You'll have to take my word for it, but yes it is. A giant wild boar is attacking. Going after the baby. Giant boar ate his baby. He's brought up on charges, but he's eventually dismissed. Greg Harrison and his wife, 2 years later,
they changed their minds.
She's going to Australia to learn about pigs.
There isn't a season for razorbacks, girlie.
Then why kill them?
Oh, I don't know. There's something about blasting the shit out of a razorback that brightens up my whole day.
Anyway, so she interviewed the guy whose baby got killed, or grandson, and now she's about to face off against these two bozos. They end up running her off the road, and they have their eyes on assaulting her. But you hear that? They're not going to be successful because a giant wild boar is looming. But she does not escape the wrath of the giant wild boar. The razorback is going to attack her. Her husband Carl comes to look for her. He doesn't tell anybody who he is, though. He meets Benny and Dicko. They take him on a kangaroo hunt. They don't know who he is. Anyway, they're out looking for kangaroos, and he screws up their hunting because he doesn't want them killing anything, and they're not happy about it. They're just going to eventually leave him stranded. So he's abandoned in the outback. As the night plods on, he starts to get a little crazy. And he, oh Jesus. He ends up climbing this little windmill and spending the night up there sleeping to get away from the pigs, who promptly tip him over in the morning. He's stuck out in the desert, nobody came for him, and he starts to hallucinate a little bit. More weirdness in the desert. He's hallucinating a little bit. See that again? He stumbles across Sarah. Sarah nurses him back to health. But not before another nightmare.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sarah tells me you've seen the boar. The razorback. Come on, boy. I'm not sure. I didn't.
A razorback keeps doing its thing. This time he took away part of a house. So Jake's out looking for the razorback, and wait, look back to your left. There it is. And he's going to shoot it with a dart here so they can track it. Of course, if he's going to get this closer, why not just shoot it and kill it? Well, he did manage to shoot it several times to no avail, and he did get a dart in it also. And then he finds some razorback shit, and unfortunately he finds the wedding ring.
Jake, give me a minute. Looks like he's about 3 miles west of the pumpkin.
One thought, you're a handle.
Come on, get down! Get down! Get down on the ground!
So the Benny and Dicko are worried that Jake is going to say something to the police about their attempted assault on her that night. So they break his legs. And then our razorback pays a visit to him. And that's going to be the end of old Jake. Benny falls down a shaft. Mine shaft.
Where is your brother now?
End up having a battle near the end here. Benny and Dicko, Carl, and he's in some meat rendering factory, and our razorback busts through the window. He tries to lure the thing inside. The there's a conveyor belt he's going to step on. Prior to that, he has a metal pole and he takes a stab at it. But this doesn't do much other than piss him off. And it goes and gets crunched and ground up into a billion pieces. So the Razorback is dead, and he's moved on from his wife pretty quickly, I think. All right, let's talk about the movie Razorback. I've seen this movie maybe 3 times in my life. The only thing that really always stands out in this movie is that guy saying Razorback. That line has stuck with me forever, and I keep repeating it over and over again. So anyway, what we have here is a story about a giant wild boar in the Australian outback somewhere. How it got giant, I don't know. There's no toxic waste or anything like a lot of these monster movies. It's just big. It's big, and it runs off with this guy's grandson and presumably eats him. And the guy saw the giant boar but couldn't do anything to stop it. The guy ends up getting arrested for the murder of his son, but they can't prove anything. He keeps saying it was a giant boar. No one really believes him, though, because they think he's nuts. But they can't prove anything, so he's just released, and so be it. A couple years pass, and this woman from the United States comes to, I guess, investigate some pig stuff. I don't know, but anyway, she interviews a few people, and she ends up getting attacked by these 2 guys. What were their names? Benny and Dicko, I think were their names. But before they could assault her, they also get attacked by this giant boar, and she gets away from, or the 2 guys get away, but she runs to her car, but then the thing attacks her car, pulls her out, and eats her. And then a week or so later, her husband, Gregory Harrison, shows up to find out what happened to his wife. And he starts poking around. He interviews a few people, pretends to be somebody else so they don't know. He thinks this Benny and Dicko are behind it. And obviously it's not. And then he eventually finds out that his wife got eaten by a giant boar because they find her wedding ring in the boar shit. So anyway, he gets chased by the pig or the boar, and he ends up sitting on a windmill all night, gets knocked in the water. Eventually he goes after Benny and Dingo, and they end up dying. Ultimately, he's in this like warehouse at the end of the movie. By the way, Jack, the hunter whose grandson was killed, he actually had been trying to catch this boar for the last 2 years, kill it, but wasn't able to. The boar ended up eating him too. But at the end of this movie, he's in this warehouse, and the giant boar is chasing him. It's like a meat factory of some sort, and there's some sort of big meat grinder thing on there. He manages to lure the thing on a conveyor belt and get it to charge, and eventually falls in and gets ground up into a billion pieces, and that's basically how our movie ends. He also has a new love interest because he's got this new chick there who showed up, who was kind of helping him and stuff. And anyway, that's Razorback. So basically what you have here is a giant wild boar movie. It's kind of a monster movie, but again, there was no like science fiction-y or no toxic chemical waste that made this thing big. It was just a gigantic wild boar. It was a killer animal movie. So there you go. One brief nude scene from the Australian, or the woman who was in Australia there, the new chick who was helping her name was Arky Whiteley or something like that. I read on IMDb that she agreed to do the nude scene, very brief topless scene in the shower. Then she backed away from doing it, and then the director or whoever found somebody else to do it, and she said, well, what's she like? And she said, well, she's okay, but she's got a little cellulite on her. And then the actress said, well, screw that. I don't want people thinking that's me. So she decided to do the nude scene anyway. There you go. She's a pretty actress too, so nice boobs. But anyway, that's Razorback. I have this on this archive collection. This may or may not have been released on the other DVD prior to this. I don't know, but this will suffice. So anyway, that's Razorback 1984. It's an okay film. It's an okay film. A lot of dark scenes in it, though, like literally dark. So it took place at night a lot. So anyway, check it out. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about Razorback. Watch it. Bye.